Hello and welcome everyone to, you guessed it, a tier list video. It's been a while since my last one, and I'm really excited to do another one. These are quite a bit of fun, but I feel like I've exhausted quite a bit of what I could do, and I didn't really want to milk it too hard. But right now, what I'm going to be doing is I will be ranking the towns once more, and this time I'm going to be paying respect to their power in Jebus Outcast template in the latest version, which is I. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer. The balance in Jebus Outcast I is very far all over the place. And the meta is not really settled, so many of these down rankings will be lower or higher depending on the player actually ranking them. So, yeah, just keep that in mind that these are not like the final rankings, not necessarily which you should be basing your decisions by as well. So let's start. Castle. Castle used to be the undisputed best town in the previous version by far, even up against the second best town. Now, in the new version, because mages became so relevant because you need a lot of knowledge to use the control spells immediately, in Jebus Saltcast, the castle has fallen from fallen quite a bit from grace, and also they have more or less swordsman boxes now as well, meaning that you get lower box quality. You also usually have to go for a mage, and mages in castle are okay, but they're nothing special. So I would say they fell all the way down to B tier even. A pretty sad sight to see, to be honest. Next up is we have Conflux. Now, Conflux is, I would say, actually, immediately I will tell you, they are probably the best faction in the current Jebus Outcast, but let me tell you why. The reason might not be that obvious. Well, I mean, there's some parts of the reason that are pretty much obvious, but there's gonna be some parts which are not quite as, okay? So the way that you currently play in Jebus Outcast is you immediately go to the bunker, and if the opponent is not playing Conflicts, then in that case, the underground town is going to be Conflicts, and you can buy a Magic University there. And so when you're playing up against Conflicts, the Conflicts town is going to be on the outside, and you have to find it and you have to flag it. And you don't get it along the way when getting the control scrolls as well, and that's a very huge deal. So by playing Conflicts, you deny the opponent the ability to get the Magic University easily, and you get it for yourself as well. And also the heroes have loss of knowledge, they immediately start off with a control School of Magic, which is amazing. So you get full control by level 7 if you use your university for the second School of Magic. And that's really good. Complex is honestly just top tier, and even without the sabotage part. But when you include the sabotage part, it's just on a whole new level. They are S tier. Excuse me, what is that? So yeah, they're on a whole new level, and they are the best. Their boss quality is also really, really high. So yeah, amazing faction. Next up is we have Cove. Now, factions that have good mages are usually pretty good in this version, and they have Eovashius. Eovashius is a really great mage with a very special build ability to, double clone. And yeah, Eovashius carries the faction up to A tier. Having a really good mage, I feel might just be good enough to push them further beyond. However, they kind of lack in terms of army. Their army is really, really squishy, and on Eovashius, it's gonna be hard to do a Utopia or something like that. So yeah, it doesn't exactly feel that great playing them. And also, Cove ended up getting nerfed because you don't really build into army anymore on this patch. What you usually do is you buy a few dwellings in order to upgrade your existing creatures, because if you get a boss of oceanids and a boss of nymphs, you want them to be on the same stack, so you just upgrade. And that's most of what you do in towns. You don't really go for tier 6 units anymore, tier 7 units in the main. Usually not a thing, with some exceptions of course. Then next up is we have Dungeon. Now Dungeon has a really great mage, and also that they get multiple mana vortexes, and you get them pretty much immediately. Not pretty much, actually, yeah, immediately. Now there's It kind of matters to say that you, by playing dungeon, the way that towns are is that the opponent will be always getting a town of your opponent's faction in their sonic biome. So, you know, you're giving like one of the mana vortexes away to the opponent as well, but having two, just to be able to cast those control spells immediately and so reliably is really, really amazing. They belong in S tier alongside Conflux, but just a little bit lower. So next up is we have Fortress. Fortress has Andra as their leading mage, and Andra does like an okay job, but just having a magic hero on the Fortress feels so wrong. And I don't feel like she carries the faction like that far. Because of this, I would say that currently Fortress is about B tier. Now the boss quality for is like one of the best available. Like you get gorgons, you get lizards. Those bosses are just absolutely insane. And whichever creatures you get a lot of, and they stand their ground. They're really tanky, but on Andra it still feels kind of meh. So this is how I would rank it. Next up is we have Inferno. Now, Inferno's gonna be like one of those things where my gut feeling and my brain are telling me very different things. Because I've played Inferno like 4 times on this patch. Okay? Like 4 times. I've always played it on Aiden. Aiden is like the main leading mage for Inferno. He starts off with like no knowledge, but you can get by with like a few schools of magic, a few level ups, Garden of Revelation, and you can start controlling pretty early on. Now here's the disconnect. I think Inferno's bad. Inferno doesn't really have much going for them. Their boss quality is okay, but the hero's like pretty mid, they don't really build into anything, and they should be kind of trash. But every single time I played Inferno, I kind of dominated. Like, every game was a good game. I have no idea why. I'm gonna trust my brain on this one. Like, my gut feeling is actually putting it at the high B or even A tier. But I think they're gonna be C tier. I think I just high rolled a few games. I shouldn't let it get to my head. So, there we go. Next up is we have Necropolis. Necropolis got a really interesting identity. They got like basically reworked, and now their new identity is Vampire. So Vampire Gaming can get you like really, really far. They now have 2 guaranteed boxes of 15 vampire laws, and they can also spawn a random amount of 20 unupgraded vampire bosses as well. So right now, the meta is to grab your control, grab a few levels, then by starter week 2, get some vampire laws going, use the vampire laws to immediately claim all the bosses that look like to be about vampire value. You find that vampire box, and suddenly you have a critical mass of vampire that will suddenly be able to do every single utopia and almost every single fight in the game for free. Yeah, as you can imagine, that's pretty powerful. They are probably one of the leaders in terms of utopia timings, and they do a really good job. Vidama can also maybe sat some scullies for late game, usually transition into a different army from undead, where based on whatever the side zones are in your game. But vampires get you there fast, and they get you there efficiently and reliably. With their new identity, I would say they are high A tier. Then next up is we have Rampart. Now, Rampart is actually like really a lot like Inferno. So I had like really good times with them, but that's because I think I got paid a lot to play Rampart every single time I played it. And I used to play Ares and Elishar. So I would say they are actually low B tier. Their boxes are okay, but they take like a little while to get going. And because of that, I would put them. They also like it. There's a really big thing. In order to build the Magic University immediately, you need a lot of wood and a lot of ore. Now, ore it's fine. You don't really spend it that much, but wood. If you don't find a sawmill on Rampy, then you cannot upgrade your centaurs, dwarves, Grandels, and also buying out the Magic University is pretty hard. Then now, let alone income, you need so much wood to function, and getting it is like a pretty big burden on your faction. And your one hero that's running around, he has to scout it, collect it, and that you're doing that instead of like gaining control spells and so on. I mean, you could like forego building, but then you're not using Grandals, but then your army kind of sucks. So yeah, if you find like a sawmill immediately with like 3 pairs of wood and also like a wood saw and like a warehouse of wood, then yeah, you're good and set to go. Then Rampage actually feels really good to play, but otherwise wood is like a really big bottleneck for them right now. Next up is we have Stronghold. Stronghold is the only faction where it's currently still meta to pick a warrior. Now, that's not to say the warrior is really good. No, actually, she was really good. It just the reason that is because all their battle mages really suck. The reason you go for mages in this current patch is not because you want wisdom. Wisdom is actually like kind of a downside even of picking a mage. It's because you want knowledge, started knowledge, knowledge growth. Anything that can get you casting control spells sooner is gonna be the thing that you want to go for. Now, if she were to roll a helmet, then she's actually one of the best heroes in the game. But honestly, Stronghold got super nerfed. One, we went into a mage meta, which doesn't favor Stronghold at all. Second is they got one of their behemoth cracks removed. There used to be 3 per biome, now there's only 2 per biome. So behemoths got nerfed. Like they got hit every single side they could be hit at. And yeah, they're not very good right now. If you can score some Thunderbird bosses, then they can like have a good tempo game. But that's not the norm. They are pretty low in my opinion. And last we have Tower. Tower, at least in my opinion, for a very long time, used to be the absolute bottom dumpster faction. And yeah, right now they have like really solid mages that can get control really fast and early, like Astral. That's my favorite. So though people pick Solmir, but then again, some people just don't want to win. What can I say? So yeah, you pick up a bunch of genie lamps, you go into genie boxes, you get control early, fast and easy. They do everything, and they do it like really well. I would say they are about high 8 tier, in my opinion. It feels so weird, the fact that you would bid for Tower over Castle. Yeah. Honestly, I still don't like playing Tower. I get flashbanged every single time I play it, so does my chat. It's not a very good feeling, but despite it, playing with some genie guys once in a while is actually quite a bit of fun. And I do enjoy it. At least a far more than I used to. So, in terms of balance changes, we have like a really big mix of things that used to be in the middle are now at the top, things that used to be at the bottom are now in the middle, and things at the top now at the bottom. It's, yeah, all over the place. And honestly, there weren't even that many changes, but the changes that did happen, yeah, was like really critical to the game's balance. So this is my most up-to-date faction tier list for Jebus Outcast, version I. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll be seeing you over in the next video or on my stream. And by the way, currently I'm still having my raid campaign, and in order to get the biggest cash in that I can from it, I need you guys to download the game and level up to 10 if you could for me. I would be really, really grateful, okay? And thank you, and until next time, thanks for watching.